TTFFDDP just subscribed.
Yo, DDP, thank you. They changed my... Oh, the audio is probably horribly loud. Mute. They changed how the mixer looks, and this is also like way too loud on my end. I've forgotten how to stream. There we go, that's better. DDB, thank you so much for that. I very much appreciate it. And thank you. I feel very welcomed. Woo! Yeah. Up to... I'm not sure how I feel about this new new thing. Yeah. What?
Tuna Piano just subscribed. What?
What? Level 1 hype train, let's go. Finally back to, life is back to normal. Indeed it is. Although everything looks different now on my OBS because it updated, and I didn't. You know what? It's fine. Let's get rid of that. We'll slide this over. We'll slide this over. I think they improved the audio mixing stuff, which is kind of nice, but also it changes my whole feng shui of my setup. Anyway. It's because I sub for multiple months. Oh, gotcha. All right, I'm here. No, I'm not here. That was anticlimactic. That's not even the right camera. Or wait, no, it is the right camera. I just didn't need to do that. There we go. Beautiful. And also, I forgot how to stream. I need to put this on this screen so I'm not craning my neck for no reason. It's just an AI voice clone. True. We got baited, indeed. It's the dubbed version of Beets. Hello, my friends. We also don't have the lights on behind me. I'm just failing miserably. Okay, there we go. Hello. Welcome back, King. Thank you, my friend. How's it feel? It's good to be back. Woo!
Woo, welcome back.
Ooh, that was surprisingly a short woo for the number of O's you put into that message. I feel cheated. It feels good. It feels good to be back. I'm tired. Wait, watch this. Waiting. I'm waiting. Okay, I'm done waiting. It'll happen when it happens. Yeah, no, I'm tired. But okay, here we go.
Woo.
Woo. Yeah, who didn't see that one coming? Who didn't see that one coming? Life is good again. It is. Look at my shiny head. I shaved today. I also trimmed the beard, but I try to keep this longer, but the sides trimmed down. I feel like it makes my jawline look chiseled. Woo.
What about? Whoa, oh, 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 oh,
and shiny AF, indeed. It's freshly shaveded. Okay, I guess we're starting the day off right with some push-ups. Where's the right camera? There it is. Look at the floor. Oh, 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 ew, oh, ew. Let's go. Oh, 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 oh. Oops, wrong thing. Was a... How did it throw in a random ooh in there? It was a double O. Ah, I see. Yes, hello, 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 Tuna, hello, Tebow, hello, Toot. A lot of T words. Hello, DDP. I guess we could say it TTF, and then it would all be T names. Yeah, you're all technically T names if we try hard enough. Anywho, how was y'all's time without me? What did you do? You sneaky resub? He resubbed at the beginning, like right at the beginning. I've got a reverse T name. I mean, Tuna is, I don't know. Anyway, maybe you're talking, maybe you're just doxing yourself right now. I don't know. For some reason, those push-ups got me out of breath. Life was a dark void without your stream. Fine. Fair enough. Had to do it so I could refresh and skip the ads. Very fair. I appreciate it all the same. And now the card things actually appear. Like, well, they actually look decent, which is cool because I made them larger. Anyway, what are we doing? I don't know. I feel like I should be doing something before I jump into the working on stuff, but I think we're just gonna jump into working on stuff. It's like what I do on the streams, you know? I asked you how you were. Now the talking is over and it's time to talk about nerd stuff. We've literally been busy and we'll be every day of the week except for days when you're streaming. Fair enough. Get to work now, indeed. Get to work. Okay, so we are working on Blight of Blackridge. What a weird coincidence. It's almost like maybe you've worked your schedule around my streams. That's crazy. Let me see that bob. That's, I don't know why that sounds weird. All right, let's jump on to here. Here we are. Show off Grot's art because it's awesome, but that would be free art review. I mean, we could. There's two with a GIF. Let's see. Art. His deer one, or not his deer one, but his vampire one. I know y'all been posting a ton of stuff since I've been gone. The Grot Pyre. We could do that. We could do that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I feel like he posted other stuff too. Stream chat? I mean, it was just a normal chat. I don't know anymore. Anyway, y'all been up to some cool stuff. As always. Yeah, everyone has indeed. Well, if y'all want to do art review or anything like that, I'll show off your stuff. But yeah, I think we'll just get started for now. Good suggestion though. Where do you use scalp polish or something? I'm getting blinded here. No, it's honestly, I think it's just because I just shaved. I shaved and showered like an hour before I got on stream, or two, maybe 2 or 3 hours, but whatever. Relatively recently. Wow, you did the wood grain for this game too. I think it's an addition. Yeah, I did. Look at that. I drew the table. Let's get rid of these just because they're ugly. Bleed. Okay. An art review by Tebow. I need the professional opinion. Okay. Yes, I definitely want to give a quick tutorial on how the game works for sure. Looking freaking healthy, man. What's your secret? My secret is Beets. I don't know, man. I don't have a secret. I ain't got no secrets. Yeah, Tebow has also been cooking. Hello, Mr. Beetle Man. Indeed. Have y'all seen Tebow's art? Yeah, I'm popping open Photoshop real quick. Yeah, sorry if I'm a little slow. I had like a headache right before stream, and then I took some ibuprofen and I'm feeling a bit better now. So hopefully we should be good, but I did kind of have a headache. So if I'm a little bit slow to start, also I haven't streamed in like, you know, forever. I'm also tired because someone who likes to meow was meowing at my door this morning because she's not back on my schedule yet. So something I already heard from someone is the pupils. Let's see. New clipboard paste. This is Tebow's art. Look at it in all its glory. Either need to make them more toward the center or bigger. I don't know. Eyes are so difficult. I think it looks, I don't see too much of a problem with it. Let me look more from a critiquing lens than other than just like, damn, Tebow, you did good, you know? Hello, Nova. Goodbye, Nova. Thank you for lurking. I lost 10 kilos, 20 pounds recently too. Oh, damn. Nice. I think the workouts are helping, although I'm not sure I need to lose weight. Fair enough. But congrats, I guess, probably. I'll refrain from meowing at your jaw. Sorry. Yes, it was all toot. Yeah, how did Luna react to your turn? I walked in the door and she went, meow! And I was like, oh God. She did it much cuter than I did, but... it was like just a very long, prolonged singular meow. No, she just started yelling at me, but someone clip that meow. Please don't. I can gain power and lose weight I can gain and lose. Where did I read power? Oh, below it. My brain transposed power up a thing. I gain and lose weight very fast. Feels like a superpower. Yeah, I guess so. Okay, Tebow. First of all, everyone tell Tebow he did a good job. Second of all, I guess I can kind of see. Let me do this. So you're mostly worried about your anatomy, which I would say isn't really a problem. I think you're doing just swell. I mean, everything's pretty good. I think. Let me put on guides for half a second. I guess I can see what you're saying about the eyes, but eyes are like, you literally move it like 4 pixels and that can change the entire look of an eye. You know what I mean? So like, I guess you could potentially bring the eyes inward a little bit. Maybe. Oops, I'm on the wrong layer. Like you could change the expression. Like, I think right now it's honestly, T-Bo, I think you did a good job, and I don't think there's really much to critique here. In my opinion. I'm kind of nitpicking at that point. Like you could move the eyeball around. I guess the way the eyes are shaped, you can't really just move them around, you know what I mean? Like they're not exactly perfect circles. I mean, not that they should be, but I feel like if you move the eye to look more forward, it ends up just being like you have to move both eyes, which like maybe you can make it more like that, but like that just feels like I'm changing the expression and not really changing the I think you're honestly fine. I think probably what wait, you were saying someone was saying that they look a little like what off? I was thinking potentially it's just that someone might be thinking the eyes are looking like this, right? So I guess you could maybe try that, change that, but like I think you could still be convinced that they are looking like this, right? Like I don't think that's yes, LAO. Let me actually catch up here real quick. Working on the clip. I'm so powerful. I need to keep gaining power. Honestly, Tuna, I feel like that is something you would say. I didn't have the most. It did have the most issues with the hair. Yeah, hair's interesting. I love the auto-generated captions for Twitch clips. Cautious, artsy sloth nom nom. Just gave up and copied the one from, I don't even know how to pronounce that name, but the character from Mighty Nine. Bayu? Bless you too. True. I didn't sneeze, but thank you. It's a D&D bless. You're now less likely to fail a check. Good. Lazy, I don't, yes. Figure may work, but I don't know. Not that you need it with the plus 12 charisma modifier, true. Yeah, honestly, dude, I think you did fine. I think they look a little bit shy, right? with the way the eyes are right now. But honestly, I think you could probably just move the eyes. Actually, rather than moving them up and over, you could probably just move them over. Oops, I'm hitting the wrong button. Hello? Why is this not working? Maybe? I don't know. Yeah, but then it starts looking like cross-eyed. Eyes are really tricky because the second you move it like 4 pixels instead of 1 pixel, then it just looks like... You know? I think you have it fine, dude. I wouldn't really worry about it. As far as hair, if you have specific things, I think you can, like, it's definitely a stylized, like, hairstyle, right? It's not like, it's a stylized look. Like, normal hair would be, you know, more, wouldn't really necessarily stick up and go out like that, right? It, like, follows the, it would kind of, you know, maybe do this sort of thing, right? It's a style. Like, real hair probably wouldn't do that, but like in a like a comic or cartoon, it looks normal. But yeah. My only advice is make more. T-Bow's good at making more. It was supposed to be like, what's it called? High bun thing. Yeah, you're doing like Sokka's haircut from or not Sokka. Am I thinking Sokka? Am I thinking the right character? Or am I thinking it's one of the waterbenders? Although Sokka isn't a waterbender, which is kind of, you know. He kind of has like, yeah, he's kind of a little hair bun thing. I mean, I think if you wanted to do a hair bun, it would be perfectly fine, right? Just kind of, you know, shape, you know. Head on stop from a head on thing, it would look up Mighty Nine Vox Machina, that animation style. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at your reference, and I think it looks perfectly good there. So honestly, T-Bow, I don't think there's too much critiquing to be done, if I'm being honest, unless you have something very specific you want me to look through. But Grot, hello, welcome on in. Yeah, T-Bow, looks good. I don't think you should. Yeah, it's a good sign. Although if I saw how I got here, maybe a way to speed that up. Honestly, looking at your stuff, I think you just need to do sketches more. Like looking at your process video. I mean, you started like blocking stuff, which isn't bad, right? Like, but usually use blocking for posing, right? So like if you're drawing a character, you usually would do like, you know, it's like, oh, I want to make a character, and they're like, they're shaped like, you know, they're doing this, you know, with the sword, and this arm's like out, and they're like, yeah, and then whatever. Like blocking's good from there. I think learning construction would be your next step, right? Where you're starting to do more you know, anatomy sort of studies would probably help. You know, just trying to block shapes. You're like, okay, that's the front of the head, this is the back of the head, you know, shoulders are here, body's here, you know, whatever, that kind of thing. I think that's probably what would also, maybe not facing forward, slightly to the left, right? Yeah, the 3/4 view. That's, I think, I mean, I need to do this more too. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I think you take a lot of time to discover, like just watching you draw, you take a lot of time to, you're basically sculpting out your piece. Like you're drawing something and then you're removing stuff and then you're adding stuff back in, and you're drawing, like you're doing a lot of like tweaking and changing, where if you do sketching, you might be able to get it right the first time and then not have to keep going back and doing it over and over again. But it feels like sculpting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what your process looks like, just watching it. So yeah, I would recommend doing more sketching if you're just trying to get your process better. Which, you know, won't always be helpful. Sometimes you'll finish the drawing and be like, nope, that doesn't look right either. Probably because I use a mouse, but I'll try. I need to get drawing tablet pad thing soon. Yeah, dude, for sure. I mean, yeah, doing it on a mouse is wild. We're all very impressed by you. So good work, dude. Anyway, we're working on Blight of Blackridge. Have to take a deuce. We'll be back. All right, dude. See a toot. Have a nice toot. Why did I say it out loud? Anyway. Thanks, you. Anyway, Blight of Blackridge. I still think you're a robot. There's no other explanation. The Twitch emojis is weird. Shaking my head. They are. Agreed. Now I can do a CAPTCHA with ease. So can AI, which is so funny. It's like they're just not even, it's not even worth it anymore. Wow, they're evolving. There's like a whole video where Neurosama, the AI VTuber, she was they had her doing CAPTCHAs. She was somewhat decent at them, which was funny. Anyway, Blight of Blackridge. Who's ready for me to explain this game if you don't already know how to play it? I don't need my art pad anymore. I said, are you ready? I can't hear you. Anyway. Okay. So, Blight of Blackridge. Thanks for the praise, I guess, LMAO. But, so, y'all know I was attempting to draw my current character, the Goblin Necromancer. I got one all the way back. What art? That's a good question. I thought the Dracula one, but the vampire, that's the word. I'm not. Did I read that wrong? Oh, I gotta go. I got to go, I guess. Yeah, I was can read. You gotta go, Tebow. I just got back. You can't leave me. Thanks for the praise, I guess. Sounds bad. Y'all do. Well, I don't know. Maybe you're like, oh, well, I don't know. I can't read. You know this. You know I can't read. I haven't had my reading practice. I should probably work out more, but I also can't afford to lose weight. There you go. Eat more. I'm already very slim. I gotta go. Don't gotta go. Don't gotta leave me. Just kidding. Anyway. You can do whatever you want. The world is your oyster. I don't want to leave dough. Oh dear. Classic. But I gotta. You gotta be kidding me. I feel like we need to make like a little meme of that with like the little like Grot's little guy, and it just like kind of angry, and it's just like, you gotta be kidding me, you know? Okay, B-E? Nope. That didn't work. It did not. Buy, oh, it's like buy. Nope. It doesn't work. Yeah, try to eat more, but it's hard. How do you put on weight? You eat stuff. You eat stuff deep fried and wrapped in bacon, Grot. That's how you gain weight. And one with what the buck. Anyway, okay, well, I have the feeling I'm gonna have to explain this like 3 times because people are going to be in and out of this conversation, but we'll start explaining it, and then we'll just explain it as many times as it takes, I suppose. The biggest thing we're going to be fixing is... Oh, interesting. None of that. Anyway, biggest thing we're going to be fixing is the corruption mechanic. You already know how it works. Yeah, Tuna wanted me to say, but I think Tuna disappeared. Tuna probably got a call from his brother. Did we play Grot? Why am I thinking that we played once? I don't think we did. No, we played armies. I'm trying to think if I've ever played Blackridge with the community. I probably should, if I haven't. Anyway, yeah, the biggest thing we didn't. Yeah, I was gonna say, for some reason I thought like I played with the community for half a second. I was like, did I? I'm like, no, I didn't. I did play like on a few different streams, but the biggest thing that needs to be fixed is the corruption mechanic. I originally, it was just another form of damage, but that wasn't my original intent. I talked about it in the video, but I think you remember when we played my old project, we had a very similar inventory mechanic. I think I'm like having a multiple memories fused into one. I'm just losing my mind probably. But yeah, I talked about the corruption mechanic in my video. Basically, it was originally another form of damage, but we kind of wanted to fix it into a the idea is that it does something when you die, right? When you die, you can end up using your corruption cards in order to influence the game. The biggest problem right now is it's just not fun. Partly for two reasons. One is because it is there's no goal. You can be mean and start like ruining other players' days, but it because they have effects like let's actually pop up Dexterous here, because I think this is just going to be a better view of it. Blight of Blackridge. You know, they have effects like increasing the cost of events, or, you know, decreasing cost of events, whatever. Basically, you know, things that make the game harder. They increase the difficulty, which is kind of a cool concept. But the players being able to play these oftentimes just felt like you're just able to make a player of your choice lose. And it kind of was more interesting to not play your cards and see how the competition sort of ended. It's basically just feels like being mean for the sake of being mean and not for actually having more fun. So, I have a few ideas on how to change that, but I'm not 100% certain. So yeah, basically right now, oh, I don't need Photoshop open. Go away, Photoshop. Basically right now, you'll have a bet, right? So everyone will place down their cards for their bets, and then never played a game like this, I don't think. Tuna, you're back. Were you talking with your brother? Father, close enough. So, Tuna, do you want a refresher? I know you were saying you wanted a refresher on how the game works. He's back. He got another call. He's gone. But yeah, basically I've been here for a couple of minutes, so just the starting stuff. Okay. Well, I didn't go over how the game works. I don't know if you want a full overview of the game. But stop shaming me for being a slow typer. Never. I'm just kidding. I am a slow typer as well. Also, it's probably like a few second delay from me saying something to whatever. Shame. Done. All right. So basically, here's how the game works. Yeah, how the gameplay loop looks would be good to understand. Okay. So, players get a set number of cards. Basically, the cards players can hold in their hand are weapons, tools, and rations. Weapons let you kill monsters. Tools kind of are utility items that let you do various things. They're kind of a catch-all. And then rations let you you can eat them at mealtime, which keeps you alive. Basically, at the start of a player's turn, you draw an event. You shuffle and draw. If you get something like a creature event, you can you play your cards. Let's just pick one that makes sense. Some of them are a little more complicated to explain, so we'll just do like this guy. Well, he has no reward. He's kind of not the. I want like the Dust Devil. He's a good starter one. So basically, in order to kill this creature, you have to wager up to 3 or more weapon damage, which is what the card says at the bottom there, right? So basically, if you look at your weapons, this one deals 2 damage. And it's got a special effect, but whatever, so you'll play. Whenever you bet face down. So you're like, okay, I can kill it with, I have 2 6 shooters. So I'm going to play those. It does a total of 4 damage. I should be able to kill him with that. Then it goes to the next player. The next player can be like, okay, either I want to participate or I don't want to participate. If they participate, if they don't participate, this creature at the top right there, you see all non-participating players who have non-participating players or ones who have lost the bet take 1 damage, right? So if you lose the bet or you don't participate, you take a damage. So it's in your best interest to win the bet if you can. But sometimes it makes sense to pass, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, if they don't think they have enough damage, if they only have a knife or something, right, in their inventory, they might be like, okay, pass, or they can decide to team up with a person. Let's say this guy teams up. He's like, okay, I've got a knife, and then he's teaming up with the next guy. The next guy's like, okay, I've got, 1 item too. I'm gonna play that. You also can corrupt weapons, which, if you tip it sideways, it gains its corrupted effect, which is the thing at the bottom. So now this one does 5 damage, but you gain a corruption, which is going to be the main system that we're working on. You get a corruption card if you do that. And the last one thing you can do is you can just pass, right? You can be like, I don't have enough damage. I'm not going to be able to make this. I pass. At the end, all the things are revealed. The person who did the most damage wins the event, and then you get the reward listed. And then after that is mealtime, where you eat a ration. Basically, just discard a ration and take a card based on a dice roll. 5 and 6 are weapons. 3 and 4 are tools, and 1 and 2 are rations. If you're so you have inventory slots. These basically hold your weapons and stuff like that, right? These hold your items. But if your inventory is if you take damage or corruption, it starts filling up these slots, and it will start replacing your tools. This is basically your inventory and also your health bar. So the more damage and corruption you take, the less inventory space you have, the more you atrophy, and then eventually, if your entire health bar is full, you die. The kicker here is that once you are dead, you are allowed to play your corruption cards. Currently, the way these work is they're sort of event modifiers, more or less. So basically, like this one, if players don't participate in the event, they take 2 corruption. So you can play that. Right now, it's you just play the card face up, and then everyone can kind of see it and be like, okay, well, I guess I need to participate, whatever. But the problem is this. So here's the. I don't want to taste corrupt soup. No, you do not. So yeah, that's the basics of the game. It's very bluff heavy, and you're gonna, you fight each other. I want to. Okay. I mean, technically it's slop, but close enough. Corrupt soup. It's extra spicy. Hot porridge. But yeah, the current problem with the game is that these feel. The problem is there's no reason for people to play these cards other than to make other players succeed. And it's not like there's any real teams, right? It's every man for themselves. So when you play these, the problem is it kind of just ends up feeling bad, like you're just kind of ruining the competition of the game. My initial reaction to giving the dead players a way to revive by using corruption cards, but I see a lot of issues with that as well. Yeah, so the biggest thing is they need a goal. They need a goal to a reason to keep playing. But I don't know exactly what that is. I think coming back to life is probably the only actual good one, believe it or not, Tuna. I've thought about it a bit, and I think coming back to life could be the sort of mechanic, right? I don't think it should be easy. The main issue I see is being able to revive is what's the win condition if everyone can revive? I mean, if everyone's dead and no one can revive anymore, like if everyone's officially, like if there is one living player and the rest are dead, then you win, right? It wouldn't be so much like the game ends if everyone's dead and no one has revived. I think reviving should be very difficult. But I think it's probably the way to go because they need a goal. I mean, I don't know what else it could be unless we have like, the problem is the game isn't necessarily the quickest. It feels like it should maybe be a little bit quicker, but the only way I could see the corruption mechanic being something other than reviving is if it does some sort of like meta progression where it's like the next round you're able to you get some sort of advantage on the next round or something like that, but that's kind of weird. Yo, Anonymous, what's up, dude? Haven't seen this game in a while. Yeah, I think the goal is to work on this game for a bit. We got to re-sort out the corruption system. It's kind of, it's not fun, unfortunately, but it's another issue with reviving is it makes the game last longer. Yeah, true. But honestly, what's the issue? So one is the players who are dead. So like once you're basically once, you know, obviously once you're dead, you can play your corruption cards, right? So the problem with them is that when you play them, you have no goal while playing them. So like really your only thing to do is just mess with people. And for most people, that's not fun. Because you're kind of just ruining the competition of the game and kind of just leaving it up to like, oh yeah, that guy has no cards left, and if he doesn't participate now, he takes 2 corruption. All right, he's dead now. Game's over. You know, it kind of just removes the whole sort of competitive aspect, and there's no goal to do it. If everyone's corrupted except one person, does that person win? That would be yes. So like if that would be the. I mean, that's currently how it is, right? If your inventory is either full of corruption or damage, you basically lose. Or like the last man standing is the one alive, right? So if like everyone has a full deck of damage or corruption besides one person, that one person wins. Yeah. Basically what you said. I just said it so much more convoluted. Have you considered changing the win condition once you're dead? That could be interesting. Interesting. Sounds like a win condition problem. Could be. I mean, it could also be like who can kill the most creatures, but I also don't 100% like that. I kind of do like the like last man standing kind of thing. Yeah, if there was still a way for dead players to win or get back the game, like they could pass the corruption state to another player or something. Yeah. So here's my initial thought though. I don't know what the win condition is yet. Like imagine if once you're dead, your goal is to cleanse yourself of all corruption. That's kind of what I was thinking in a way. So here's my thought. Instead of having, I think this will make the problem easier to fix. We'll be able to decide what that sort of system is to make the game more fun. What if it was most monsters killed corruption cards or something? I mean, it could be. So here's my problem with like changing the win condition is the game's already fun, and I've added this corruption system. Minus corruption cards or something. Could be. We'd probably be in the negative at that point, but here's my thought though. I'm thinking of changing corruption cards almost who has least corruption. Yeah, I mean that's kind of how it works, right? Already in a sense, but I think the way I want to do this is change corruption cards from being like passive effects that change the monster fights and just change them into like corrupted sort of like abilities, like more like weapons, right? Or tools that players can play on events and hopefully kill monsters themselves. Or, you know, maybe like kind of sort of not change the game, because like I think the gameplay is good. If I just got rid of corruption, the game would still be fun, right? Like that's probably the simpler solution, is just go back to how it was, remove corruption, and go back to go back to how it was before I added the effects. The effects are cool, and I like the idea of being able to do something when you're dead. but there is like an argument to just say just scrap the system, because it's already it is already a fun game without it. But I do like the idea of it. I don't think we should rework the corruption system. I don't think we should make the game. I don't think we should change the game for the sake of the corruption system. I mean, I guess you could do it based on like number of monsters killed, but I feel like it changes the whole goal of the game. I think surviving is much more interesting than being the one who's killed the most. And I think it really plays more into that sort of survival horror that like this game is sort of built around. So I really don't want to change that. I think it's more like really interesting if it's just like, all right, my strategy is just to hoard rations and like hopefully just avoid as many monsters as possible. And that like keeps you alive. And I think that's kind of cool that that's a strategy versus like, okay, now I have like, if we change the strategy to killing monsters, that kind of just changes the whole dynamic of the game. And I don't think that's a smart idea because the game's already good. The corruption system is the problem. As much as I agree with you, that probably would fix the problem if we change the win condition structure, but I just think I'm just worried that doing something like that would just, we're just digging ourselves deeper into a hole. But yeah, I think changing these from can't it be a bit of everything? Potentially. I do think maybe, so here's a few of my thoughts. Most of my thoughts involve changing these from being generically sort of debuff effects that like make events harder or easier. Change it from that and then switch them basically to being modified versions of weapons or tools. That way, it keeps the game more similar to what it already is, right? Like these won't feel much different than what you're already used to using, so it doesn't get much more complicated in that sort of regard. And then have the corruption cards kind of work more, or like when you're trying to revive. I think reviving is like the way to do it. It has to be difficult, I think. But potentially make it so, I don't know exactly how it works yet, but this is just me brainstorming. Make it so like if you kill a monster, you can come back to life. Or if you can gain one weapon, one tool, and one ration, you come back to life. Something like that, right? Where it's like you can play these and try to still bet on stuff, but you have like a much more limited resource. A much more limited resource left. Like points for being last 1 points for being monsters killed minus corruption. Potentially, yeah, actually. I mean, that could be part of the win condition for sure. Right now, it's basically last man standing, though if there is a tie, whoever took the most damage, I believe, is the, if you took more damage, if you like both died and one has more damage and one has more corruption, the one with more damage loses. And if it's tied again, I think it's, I don't know if I have another scenario, but I feel like it's like you kind of get crazy there. Probably the number of monsters killed, but like I like last man standing, and I also like being able to do stuff after dying. So I think it's better to make the corruption system better instead of changing the game, so that the corruption system you already have is good. Yeah. Steal the monster soul and trade it for your own. Basically, yeah, that's kind of my thought process. If you're getting rid of all corruption, would bring back to life. So it's like a timer of sorts. Potentially. The problem is, like, if we're doing that, because like on a bet, you can literally play all your cards. So I think getting rid of corruption doesn't quite work unless we have a limit to like number of corruption cards you can play. But like in theory, I honestly kind of like the idea of killing a monster. Like, so in order to come back, you have to kill a monster. In theory, that means you could just go like this and play all your cards and then just like, in theory, come back to life. But, that depends on how we structure these cards. Because I almost feel like playing some corruption cards should just give you damage instead that overwrite your whatever. What if killing monsters let you discard corruption cards? That's maybe a good idea. I'm trying to think that through. That was kind of like the idea of like, you know, getting a tool, a ration, and a weapon. Like you have to get like one of each to like get a body back essentially, right? Whereas like you kill a monster and you get like a slop, and then you kill a monster and you get a, you know, a knife and then a tool. And then once you're there, you can come back to life. But that does also mean if you only have like one corruption card in your hand, you're never coming back to life, which I don't think would ever really happen. But what if once you're dead, if you're supposed to receive a corruption card, one of the corruption cards you already has turns into damage? I like that. So like during mealtime, instead of because like at mealtime, if you can't pay a ration, you take a corruption. So maybe at mealtime, if you have corruption and you can't pay, you take a damage, or you aren't alive, you take a damage. So you slowly burn out. I do like that. What if killing a monster lets you discard a corruption card? The problem is like whenever you play a corruption card, I like that idea, Anonymous. I'm just trying to figure out how that would work, because when you play a corruption card or you play any card in this game, after you've used the card, it is then discarded. So I'm not entirely certain how that would work, or if that would work. Because like in theory, if you remove all corruption cards and you come back to life, that seems you would just play all your corruption cards, you know? Maybe I didn't understand the corruption system. Currently, yeah, it's just you basically are allowed to, you basically play these like you would normal cards. Once you're dead is how that works. But yeah. I like the thought that's there though, like killing monsters, like maybe you have to kill enough monsters, or again, you have to have a certain number of like rewards in order to do it. Like filling your bar with human possessions will bring you back to life. I don't know, right? Like, which means it would be really easy to come back to life with one. The more damage you have, the easier it would be to come back to life, which is kind of weird. But I think regardless of what we do, what we make the win condition, it's probably good to make all these cards into basically what are weapons. If corruption has a negative effect on overall win condition, I think it would work. If corruption had a negative effect on overall win condition, I think that would work. I'm trying to think that through. I mean, pretty much any time you take damage or corruption, it makes the game harder, right? So just having corruption means damage you can never remove, right? So like the more you take, especially if we like start replacing corruption with damage, you get to a point where, you know, you don't have as many cards, right? Because you can never remove these, so you only have 4 inventory slots. Corruption cards are strong in game, but if you're caught with any at the end, but if you caught with any at the end of the game, you lose points. Right, I see what you're saying. Hey, what are you attacking me for? What are you attacking me for? Okay, you've given me a lot to think about here. We are going to hit an ad in 1 minute and 30 seconds. I'm trying to think how I feel about all that. The problem is you can't play corruption cards during the game until you're dead, is kind of how the current system works. We could change that, but that kind of really throws a wrench into the game. I think this solution has to be simple enough for it to make sense as is. Otherwise, it's just worth removing it. Does it? Yeah, corruption. I can't remember what I said now. Context window, I forgot. I like the thought of limiting how many corruption cards you can wager, but also remember your philosophy in AE where you rather not limit stuff. And I do like that. Yeah, I thought about that too. I mean, that's kind of how it is now. You can only play 1 corruption card per event when you're dead. But the less rules you have to put in the rule book, like the less it changes how the game works, the better. All right, we're about to hit an ad. I'm gonna think about all that for a minute and see what I think. I will be back in 3 whole heckin' minutes. Where's my Bear Back screen?
Recently, I was challenged by Blackthorn Prod to make a board game in just 24 hours. If
You know what we're gonna do?
Video,
Oh wait, this is actually the perfect video.
That's
awesome.
If
Okay.
you haven't and you're unfamiliar with them,
I was gonna say, I'm gonna put on the Blight of Blackridge one.
YouTube
It's
channel
already on.
known for challenging developers to make games. This video was part of their engine battle series, where each dev used their preferred game engine to build a game. Of course, I'm a board game developer, so I don't really have an engine, but they wanted to mix things up and invited me to join in. This was extra exciting for me because it was the first time they actually invited someone to do a board game for one of their videos. For this challenge, me and the other devs had to make a survival horror game in an hour and a totally separate game in 24 hours. In this video, I'm going to focus on the 24-hour game because there's a lot more to talk about. If you're curious about the whole story though, I'd recommend you check out the full BTP video. But here's the quick version. For the 1-hour game, I made a battleship-inspired board game where one player, as a monster, constantly chased and hunted the other player. I leaned more into the horror aspect, emphasizing the tension of escaping the monster and the uncertainty of not knowing where the other player was. For the 24-hour game though, I wanted to hone in on the survival aspect instead. because trying to survive a monster attack is all well and good, but a true survival game, everything is trying to kill you. Not having played a whole lot of horror games, I was limited from what I could pull from for inspiration, so when trying to decide on a vibe, Hunt Showdown kept coming to mind. It had two key aspects I like, the PvPvE aspect and its aesthetic. I wanted to make a card game this time around, and the cowboy horror theme lent itself to a few mechanics I wanted to use. So to start, I compiled all my ideas into a spreadsheet, with each card element organized into its own column. From there, I populated these fields. I added weapons like the coach gun, 6-shooter, and throwing knife. These would be used for battling creatures. Added tools like a lantern, dice, a bedroll. These are versatile cards, generally used to assist players. And finally, rations, because what's a survival game if you're not starving to death? Then there were events. These cards were the main challenges of the game. Creatures exist solely to kill you, shops allowed you to trade resources, and incidents throw unique situations at the player, often leading to them screwing each other over. Once these cards were designed in sheets, I imported them into Dexterous, which converted the data into actual cards. This program was a real lifesaver, and honestly, this challenge would have been nearly impossible without it. Basically, every heading on the spreadsheet was assigned to a zone on a card template. These zones are automatically filled with the corresponding information from each cell, generating the cards. From there, they could be ported into Tabletop Simulator, ScreenTop.gg, or a printed format. I also had time to draw art, which you've been seeing throughout the video. I went with a simple wanted poster aesthetic because it was easy and it fit the theme nicely. And for some reason, I decided to painstakingly draw wood grain for this game board with the limited time I had. Yeah, I don't know. Hi, if you're enjoying the video so far, please consider subscribing. Because if you don't, I won't give Luna any more treats. That's right, I'm blackmailing you. Anyway, with all that done, this is the Blight of Blackridge, a cutthroat fight for survival where mercenaries hunt the horrors of this cursed frontier and takes down anyone who would stand between them and their reward. Let me explain the most important parts. First is bidding, added to make the game as cutthroat as possible. Players bet item cards face down on events. The highest bidder wins the event and gets the reward, while the loser suffers the consequences. Generally, this meant taking damage or corruption, which is the other mechanic I wanted to mention. Instead of a traditional hand of cards, each player has 10 inventory slots. When taking damage or corruption, those slots are then filled. If a player's inventory is full of corruption or damage, they lose the game. Players could also choose to team up if an event seemed too difficult to handle alone. That is, if you trust your friends enough to not screw you over. Then after an event, it is mealtime, where a player has to pay a ration or suffer a corruption, or colloquially known as the slop tax. Then the cycle continues until there is one player left standing. One of the biggest advantages of using Dexterous and Tabletop Simulator during development was how easily I could update the game and test changes. I was able to get in 3 play. What? You want one of my crackers? She talks to the microphone. These are mine. These are mine. Here. I'll give you a corner. There you go. Go eat that one. Right there. Go eat the one over there. That's yours. He's not even gonna eat it. So what happens if your inventory is full and you're supposed to receive a corruption or damage? It replaces the card. Damage or corruption replaces your normal items. Is that yummy? Sorry, Luna's kind of in the way of the camera right now. You're not even gonna eat it? You're not gonna eat your cracker? Why are you on top of my camera? Okay. I give you a cracker because you're just trying to get all up in my face and then you just don't even eat it. What a butt. Does it replace the rightmost card? A card of your choice.
Really? You don't even want it? You're not gonna eat it? So does damage corruption come from the right or a singular item on the left? Oh yeah, it's a card of your choice. Interesting. Y'all ever try to eat 7 saltine crackers in a minute? It's not recommended. Don't try, I succeed. Good luck. Yeah, I'm just looking through these ideas now. Oh, Tuna. You're a character. Yeah, I don't know. I really do think that I don't want to change the full game too much. I really think I don't want to mess with the win condition. I don't think it's worth it. I think honestly, if I'm going as far to change the win condition and stuff like that, I think I just have to gut the corruption system. Like, that's more worth my time. Not even time. I just think the game was fine without it. And if this isn't an improvement on the original game, then it's not worth having. But corruption turning into damage is good, right? So then the lose condition would be getting 2 full-on damage. Essentially, the complete loss would be complete full damage. That would be like you're done. You're no longer able to come back to life. I think taking damage upon mealtime in replacing corruption, I think is here. Let's go to a document now that we've talked about it for a minute. I'm in the wrong thing. Where's my Blight of Blackridge folder? There it is. This is it. It's kind of comparable to Uno outside of damage. Getting corruption is getting like hit with a +2 or +4, sort of, yeah. I mean, technically you're dead once you get 4 corruption. So let's honestly do this. Okay. So give death a purpose. Make corruption the same as betting. So this is my first thought, was giving corruption the same as betting. So like change this to like corruption. Oh my god. I haven't typed in a while. Still didn't type right. Corruption works like tools or weapons, but probably more powerful per car. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if it is more powerful. It might be weaker. I don't know. We'll have to see. You're further away from your goal, but you're stronger. Yeah, I don't know if I'm still trying to decide if it's corruption should be stronger or weaker than normal cards. I think almost it might be better if it's just weaker than normal cards and you have to just be more cunning, you know? I don't know. I still have to figure that out. Because honestly, I think I think coming back to life is the answer. We could in theory, like Anonymous is saying, change the win condition to be like number of you know, basically number of monsters killed. I just think that it just feels not right for some reason. I think it's just because the whole survival aspect is like you do anything to live. It doesn't like it nerfs a lot of the cards that let you get away from like danger or that kind of thing. And I think it changes the focus of the game. And I really like how cutthroat the game is. And I think making it based on killing monsters changes the game completely. I think it doesn't quite work, unfortunately. I do like the idea, it's just, yeah. So I think coming back to life is really the main one, unless there's some sort of like quote unquote meta progression. Like, for example, the Battle Wizards game that I talk about in the Mad Lib video. When you die or like when you lose, you get special cards that you can play during the next round, which is interesting. I like that. But I don't think Blackridge is necessarily one you'll be continuously playing unless we make the game harder, which I do have a thought on making the events more punishing, but I'm not 100% certain. No, I just realized we're not in this display. We don't have all the little guys. There we go. So yeah, coming back to life, I think is probably the thing. I do like your idea of take damage on meal time. Oh my god. Can't type. Bit of convoluted idea right now, okay? What if someone is dead? The corruption cards are ways to inflict corruption on others. If you manage to inflict it, the corruption they receive comes... Sorry, let me read this again. What if someone is dead? Okay. The corruption cards are ways to inflict corruption on others, okay? And if you manage to inflict it, the corruption they receive comes from you. So like you're giving them your corruption cards instead. I don't know how that would work. I guess I could kind of see that, like on an event, you could bet your corruption cards. And then if, say, there's two people fighting and this guy wins, this guy takes your corruption cards. That would have to be limited, like, to, like, one corruption card, though. Which means then the game would take, like... Huh. That's interesting. I don't know what it's called in English, but I see this recommendation as a game where you gotta find pairs of cards, but there's one without a pair and you get stuck with, you lose. Oh, is that Old Maid? Is that what that one is? I think that's Old Maid. Yeah, Old Maid. Yeah. I'm trying to decide if I like that. It could be interesting. Is it thing, so we call it Black Peter. Interesting. Sorry, I'm really processing this. So here's how I would see it working. The more I think about it. So if we were to do this version, it would be, you can play corruption cards. I don't even know if corruption cards would necessarily have too much effect. Maybe they'd be kind of like they are now, where they change the effect of the game. Maybe in sort of more nuanced sort of ways, rather than being like you take additional damage. But maybe what it could be is that Peter's Monkey Way thinks might be racist. Maybe so. Okay, so I think the way it would have to be is like, you can place corruption equal to the total amount of one player's cards. So like if this person played 2, you could play 2 corruption, but you wouldn't be able to play 3 corruption. It's not the total number of cards, it's the max number of cards, maybe, like of one player. Because you can't play all your cards, otherwise that'd be silly. And so the more players try to win, the more corruption you play on them. And then when this person wins, the corruption would go to your other enemy. And then you wouldn't come back to life until you are out of corruption cards. You have no more corruption in your hand. You'd still take damage every turn. That's interesting. I think we almost might have to come up with a few different solutions and then just play test it. Okay. Pawn. Yeah, definitely. But I do like this because you have a timer to revive with constant damage, and when you come back, you're given a small chance to survive. Yeah. It is interesting. So let me see. Let me think of this. Because this is version 1. This would be so this is the first idea, which would be like you come back to life by I don't know yet. Make corruptions the same as betting. Corruption works like tools or weapons. You take 1 damage at mealtime. So that would be version 1. V2 would be what you're saying. It's basically the same thing, except this would not be it. Come back to life by removing all corruption. Take 1 damage at mealtime. All probably would need to make lesser less powerful corruption cards, but cannot spell corruption apparently. Similar to how they are now. You may play corruption cards equal to the highest, or play a number of corruption cards equal to the highest number of player cards that by 1 player. There's got to be a better way to say that, but for now, that's another cool thing about this is the more people are dead, the more punishing losing a wager becomes. So it speeds up the game. That's kind of was the point of the original corruption system, is that A, it speeds up the game, and B, gives the player something to do. This is basically tweaking what we have. This is basically, maybe we'll say like winning, this one will be by ... winning an event or getting 1 of each player card. I do like this though, actually. The more I think about it, the more I like it, because it's kind of originally what I had, but it also means like this might just work without these cards having effects, you know? Like this might just be like we go back to the blank corruption card that you can play, you know? What's up, Grot? Because like I think the way that would work is that I think these having many effects, I mean, maybe we could have them have some effects, but I had to grow. Nice. Were you watered and fed plenty of sunshine? You had to grot? I'm liking that idea though, Tuna. I'm trying to decide what we do with corruption cards. Tuna, do you know that episode 8 is coming out tomorrow? That's how you pronounce the acronym, if you didn't know. I was wondering if there was a benefit to keeping effects on corruption cards. A day after Steel Ball Run? Huh? So like right now, this would just serve to make it even more difficult. The problem with these is they're kind of targeting. What? New JoJo part started today. Watch JoJo, guys. Maybe eventually. It doesn't really seem like my cup of tea, but maybe eventually. I'm wondering if this just has the same problem, though, that this does, right? And granted, it gives you a... Okay, let's just say that these are... that we remove all effects from corruption, and then we do it this way. You have an event, someone plays... 2 people play their corruption cards. This third person doesn't have any weapons. They only have, I don't know, slop. They just automatically lose, you know? So it definitely puts the emphasis back on weapons, which is interesting. But I guess it is just making, it just makes the events harder. It makes it just more punishing. The closer you are to death. It does make it more interesting too, because it makes it like... So like, say this guy places a tool and he's like, you know what, I need to beat this guy, so I have to play another thing. But that also makes it more a worse threat because both these guys can play something. There's not much player agency here though. You're probably just always going to play without the effects on these. You're basically just going to play your corruption cards no matter what. And then say, you know, this guy loses, right? I just copied the whole deck. This guy loses, he dies from that, takes 4 corruption, can only take 3 in. This guy then is back to life. So now it's this player's turn. I don't know what would happen. Maybe when you become uncorrupted, you get 1 of each item. Otherwise, it'd just be... I guess you could get a singular item, but that's just not going to do anything for you. So maybe 1 of each. Which you probably just select a, you know, a thing and a food. You end up without your food, so you just end up with... You'd end up with just 1 item against the other guy. It could be interesting. I don't know. So wholesome, Beats. You'll love it. Is it actually? I feel like it's not. I Grotto go, guys. All right, Grot, it was nice seeing you. Wave. Yeah, it's true. You're removing agency, but giving motivation, which is the opposite of what you currently have. Exactly. I almost feel like I just have to like make a few different versions and then just play test it. JoJo's unironically one of the most wholesome shows. That's how it gets away with being bizarre. Interesting. Maintain order in the chaos. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it. Who knows? Okay, well, this is a pretty good idea. I feel like at the end of the game, it will have a lot of people ping-ponging back and forth between dead and alive. But I guess if you can't get rid of all your corruption cards, say we're in this scenario, right? We're playing with 3 players. This guy probably has some amount of damage, but this guy, each player only plays 1 weapon. They can only play 1 corruption. This guy loses. This guy takes the corruption and dies. And then the game's over, because if you don't get rid of all your corruption, you stay dead. I do like the idea of like the corruption getting more powerful, though. It is cool. I'm wondering if it works. I almost think it has to be... I think I just have to try it, you know? I think the other way, like the way I was talking about, is probably too convoluted. Not convoluted, it just doesn't... Where the heck is it? Oh, here. Coming back to life by winning an event or getting a player card. This one's harder to test, but we could essentially try it with just like a second set of these that are just like do a second set of these cards, tin them red, and then just be like, all right, these are the corrupted versions. When you take a corruption, you just take one of these. I think it's probably important to just test both. That's interesting. Okay. Which means there's a lot of testing in my future. Yeah, test both because it's good that you have options now. I agree. And then also being able to there's hope for the corruption system after all. I knew there was hope. I just knew that if it didn't work out, it was just worth scrapping it, you know? Because it's not worth changing or like completely overhauling the game for. And probably playtesting both these versions will give me more ideas on what I can do potentially, you know? I'm trying to decide if I would for the playtest version of that, if I would make the corruption cards any different, like if we would use these. I kind of don't like most of them, honestly. Most of them felt bad. Increase the cost of an event by 1. This is already, it would already be adding difficulty, so that just feels like insult to injury there. Decrease the cost of the event, I could potentially see like allowing more people to participate. Okay, wait, here's another scenario though. Say we have 3 people left alive. All these guys are participating. I get to play whatever. I have less damage than this. I get to play 2 corruption cards. No, sorry. Let's just say I get to play 1 corruption card. So this is like what the bet looks like. This guy wins. These 2 guys lose. 1 corruption card goes somewhere. Where does this go? Really like the game progressively ramping up a lot. Honestly, it makes an early lead less vulnerable, so you never know who will win. Yeah, I do like the idea. I don't like that's, it feels in line with how the game works. Yeah, where does this corruption card go? Dice battle. Each player rolls a card, rolls a thing. It goes to this guy, you know? Or whoever did the least damage, although these are both the same. So that's a very likely scenario. You lose corruption, but one of them draws more. Maybe whoever dealt less damage, but that could end in a tie too. Yeah, that'd be pretty likely to end in a tie a lot of the time. Or just a roll. It could be luck. There's already dice in the game, so I don't think it's horrible. There's also the potential event where nobody participates. I guess if nobody participates, you can't actually play a corruption card. So it doesn't really matter. With the exception of like no one participating, but one person playing like a bedroll, which just lets them escape. So they play a bedroll. You could play a corruption. In which case, I guess this would be a roll. And then one person gets it. I think that kind of works. I think we'll have to do some tweaks and stuff to get that working, but I think we'll have to play around with it. What if the amount of corruption you wager is the amount you lose, but everyone who loses gains that amount? So you wager to both losers gain 2. I can see that too. Um, maybe. It's a lot faster as well at that point. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a lot to think about. I think the way I test this though is V1, we just make, I'll literally just like tint version of these cards. Can I just tint it, or does it not work that way? I don't think it works that way. It just tints the border, which is kind of annoying. Sometimes I wish it just tinted the whole card. Don't know why it does it that way. It's like, why is the tint function there if it doesn't do that? We'll just go in Dexterous and like duplicate a deck and just make it, we'll tint it red and we'll call that a day. And just, yeah, just combine both these decks. Just leave the rations out, tint these red, play it with the V1. If you can get, you know, either a kill or something, you come back to life. And we'll see how that works. And then the other one we'll test probably with just blank corruption cards. I don't think we would really play with the effects, really. I don't think that's worth it. The effects are only nice because it gives you some player agency. I could potentially see doing like really lesser effects, but I don't know exactly what those could even be. Without them being actually helpful for the players. Without having effects on them, it does ruin Chicken's Foot, but we could just rework Chicken's Foot to be like, you can play a corruption card and then whoever loses has to take the corruption card. What this means is if you dish out too much corruption, then there's no time for dead players to receive, which isn't in their interest, so they don't want to wager max corruption, right? I guess. Yeah, if you kill everyone, then you can't. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. Yeah, if you end up killing everyone, then you can't come back to life. Okay. I think I'm gonna ponder those. I think that's a good not stopping point on those, but like good to just think about those. I think they need to be tested before we really like can do much, because there's always a last man standing. So as a corrupted, you're speeding up the game to revive yourself, but also risking end game before you can revive. True. Yeah. That is true. Yeah, so there is some strategy there, potentially. I do like the idea of giving them some sort of effects that maybe make the events easier, but I'm not 100% sold on that yet. Like, maybe there's just half the number of, like, of modifying cards. Because honestly, I think lowering the barrier to participate is actually probably better for endgame. Like if you have like a card like this, right? Where it's like 3 damage and each player only has like a knife or a gun or like a pistol, right? They're not going to do too much damage. So maybe lowering the barrier to entry is cooler with a corruption card. You can be like, oh, well, this one actually lowers the event. And they're like, oh yeah, we should participate now. And then that means your corruption is going to someone. Although in theory, you can't play this unless someone else plays one. So I don't really know how that would work. Unless it's like 1 corruption plus the number of max weapons for 1 player. So if you could play 2 here and like 3 here, but this would still be 3, right? I don't know. Lots of things to think about. Corruption making the events easier makes sense. Yeah. That's definitely interesting. How do you feel about the brainstorming so far? I wasn't expecting to come up with a different sort of solution. And by that, I mean, you like well, I figured y'all would have good ideas, but I wasn't necessarily expecting something different than what I was thinking. I was like, I guess we could do something like this, but I don't really know. It's good to have options, but I'm also unsure of what will work now. So it's kind of interesting to... it's going to be... it basically just means I have to play test it, which is good. It's probably better than like... Because if I just went with my original idea, I probably would have just changed the cards and then play tested it and then realized that it doesn't work and then would have to go back to the drawing board again. So I guess I'm feeling good, but also I think I just think it through still, you know? I think we have to play test it really is what I mean. As far as I got the hang of this game so fast, it's a good sign the game is simple enough to get into. It is, yeah. I mean, it's basically, you know, it's like poker or something, right? You're like betting. The biggest thing is betting. Corruption, the one of the biggest issues, or like one of the other issues with corruption, is it does make the game more complicated, but that was part of like one of the ideal things about making corruption cards work like weapons or something, is that it does mean it's kind of less confusing, right? Because you get to play the corruption card like a weapon, which does mean it's a little less confusing, but it's kind of like 6 and 1/2 dozen another. I'm not sure it's really a big deal. It's a good game though. I'm definitely very happy with this one, but making the corruption system work is the last sort of tidbit, besides like some of the other what's it called, some of the, like the little tweaks that we're gonna have to do. See it as Uno where you can permanently limit how many cards you can have at max, and the goal is to be the last one with a card instead of being the last one. Yeah. Last one without a card. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Sort of, yeah. Yeah, it's like reverse Uno with poker betting. Yeah, I never thought about it kind of like Uno. Taking off my hat. Just to make Toot happy. Just kidding, we don't know where he is. He's gone. He died. Exactly, I'm mad at you coming up with bangers, yeah. I don't know, man. This one kind of just happened. You're too OP. To be fair, Stellar Shift was mediocre. At best. But okay, I think I'm just gonna have to brainstorm this a little bit more. Like, just have to like mull it over. Doesn't need to stay that way. It does. I'm not touching Stellar Shift ever again. It doesn't need to be we don't need to ever work on it. Not that it's that bad, but I don't care to do more with it, if that makes sense. I don't think it needs to be it was what it was. I would rather work on the battleship horror game rather than working on Stellar Shift. Fair, I'm saying you could if you wanted to. I suppose so. Honestly, I don't even know how I would do it. I don't think I like the gameplay mechanics enough to even want to. It would just have to be completely overhauled. I'm a firm believer you could turn even that into gold, maybe. I think the biggest way to improve it in its current form is just playing it with a chess clock. And so you have to do it quickly, but or something like that, but I don't know. Anyway, I probably am not going to go super late. We'll maybe do one more hour. But there are other things that need to change, which is the there's just some minor tweaks that we need to do for individual cards. That just don't work. Show them to me. Okay, and a lot of time it's just wording. All right, so Death Rat. Let's start with Derringer's the one I know probably is going to be the easiest to fix. So let's just talk about that one for a second. Just kind of give us a low ball. So Derringer, the cool part about it is so it deals 1 damage, which is low for weapons, but this card may be played right after an event, but before the result is determined. That's been confusing for people. It probably should say after cards are revealed. Like this card may be played after cards are revealed, but before the result is determined. Because people were thinking before the result was determined was after the cards were flipped. Which, to me, it's like obvious, right? It's like, oh yeah, if you flip your cards, yeah, that would be much clearer, yeah. So that one's an easy one, right? I guess we can pull up the old Blight of Blackridge spreadsheet. Which is much less complicated than my whatever one. my AE one. Is this even the right one? This is... What? Hold on. Ah. This makes more sense. Okay, it's slightly more complicated, but not too much more complicated. Derringer. So let's look at this. Deal 1 damage is fine. We don't need to change that. This card... Actually, we'll just leave it like this. This card may be played right after an event... Right after the cards are revealed. Oh god. Reveal. Nope. I'm gonna get embarrassed. Revealed. Okay. I can't. Revealed. Right before its cards are revealed for an event, but before the result is determined. Oh, wait, crap. Ads. Oh, wait, not yet. Okay. Change that and get it off the list, indeed. This pace will be done on another stream or two. Definitely not, but with all the other ones, probably. That sounds about right, though, right? This card may be placed right after the cards are revealed for an event, but... maybe it would be better if it was... This card may be played right after... maybe played... on an event... Come on. Or do I even have punctuation? Do I have, like, commas and stuff? Yeah. I just wanted to see. I wasn't sure. This card will be played played on an event right after the cards are revealed, but before the result is determined. Does that make sense? What if you replaced played with wagered? That might make sense. Sure, yeah. I'll get into that in half a second. We're about to hit ads. There's sort of a reason, because not all weapons are used for betting in some weird niche cases of event cards, of incident cards. So I might want to leave it as played. Anyway, we'll be right back.
Recently, I was challenged by Blackthorn
we're
to make
3 minutes into this one.
Just 24 hours.
About halfway through.
The Blight of Blackridge.
There's the rest of it.
A cutthroat fight for survival where mercenaries hunt the horrors of this cursed frontier and takes down anyone who would stand between them and their reward. Let me explain the most important parts. First is bidding, added to make the game as cutthroat as possible. Players bet item cards face down on events. The highest bidder wins the event and gets the reward, while the loser suffers the consequences. Generally, this meant taking damage or corruption, which is the other mechanic I wanted to mention. Instead of a traditional hand of cards, each player has 10 inventory slots. When taking damage or corruption, those slots are then filled. If a player's inventory is full of corruption or damage, they lose the game. Players could also choose to team up if an event seemed too difficult to handle alone. That is, if you trust your friends enough to not screw you over. Then after an event, it is mealtime, where a player has to pay a ration or suffer a corruption, or colloquially known as the slop tax. Then the cycle continues until there is one player left standing. One of the biggest advantages of using Dexterous and Tabletop Simulator during development was how easily I could update the game and test changes. I was able to get in 3 playtests within a 24-hour development period, and I'll tell you what, I am so glad I did, because the early versions of this game were not fun at all. The biggest issue is originally bidding was optional, and monster events had no consequences for skipping them. This led to players just skipping every event and eventually dying of starvation as they slowly ran out of food. Needless to say, it was boring. I'm really thankful I got these playtests in because they helped me to polish the game and make something I'm actually proud of. So thank you to my friends for that. But yeah, well, I'm happy with the direction the game went. There were definitely a few features I wish I had time to add. The biggest one was expanding the corruption mechanic, which ended up being a bit samey when compared to damage. The original idea for corruption was it represented a player's descent into madness, slowly transforming them into the monsters they fought to destroy. Upon death, they would rise again and manipulate the game from beyond the grave. The idea was to make the game more challenging for other players, but I wasn't really sure how that would work mechanically. Still, I was excited about the potential. Unfortunately, I just ran out of time and couldn't implement it. Now, I'll admit the game ended up more survival than horror. The real threat wasn't really the monsters, it was the other players. But hey, maybe the real monster was the friends we made along the way. I do plan on continuing work on this game, polishing up and ironing out a few of the issues. The main one being that cards from the rewards ended up polluting the main deck since they were in separate piles to begin with, but then share the same discard pile. I'd also like to add that corruption mechanic and make some other tweaks and changes to improve the overall experience. In the meantime though, you can play the game by joining my Discord server. There are a few different ways to play and you should be able to find one that works for you. I'd also like to thank all the other game devs from the Blackthorn Prod video for putting up with me for an hour playing my game. And yeah, go check out their channels and their games as well. Also, I'd like to thank Dual Wielded and Blackthorn Prod for getting me into this video in the first place. So also check them out. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. This is Armies Against Entropy, a cooperative trading card game where you and a friend face the relentless onslaught of the old gods and their monstrous hordes. Choose your god, expand your domain, build mighty structures, and rally great heroes to defend this world you call home. Stand together, fight back.
How do you feel about people who abbreviate podcast to pod? Like, oh yeah, I was on the pod. I don't know. I think they're probably people. Maybe. I don't know. I have zero feelings. I don't think I know many people who abbreviate podcast as pod. I have a feeling you have feelings about it though. I thought of something while I was walking around. But before the event is concluded. Why does that look wrong? I guess that's right. Yeah. It's my biggest ick. I've been watching Smallville, and one of the actors from Michael Roseburn is running 2 podcasts. I watch, listen to both. I see. I'm sorry that's a problem for you. You know what? Before I do this, let's save myself some headache. We are making a new version of the document. And that way we don't break anything of the current version. And huzzah. Smallville was great. I never watched it. But he unironically abbreviated podcast to pod, and every time he does it, I get slightly nauseous. He's old, so I feel like I can't blame him too much. Fair enough. Well, I will save that word in my hat in case I need to just make Tuna throw up on command. I'll collect a series of words that I can string together to just activate Tuna like some sort of sleeper agent. Okay, well that's one thing already done. The Death Rattler has a weird interaction with bedroll, and I'm not sure if that's a bedroll issue or if that is a Death Rattler issue. If I ever get poisoned, you'll just say it repeatedly. I love listening to the pod and I'll throw up. There you go. I saved your life. You're like, but at what cost? Okay, what's the issue here? All non-participating players or ones who have lost a bet take 1 corruption. Kill the creature, gain 2 rations. I think the question was whether you take a corruption. I think you do. I don't actually see the problem now that I'm looking at it, but maybe it needs to be clearer. So like the thing with bedroll, right? Place this card face up or face down on a non-incident event. Skip that event and gain 1 ration. You take no penalties for not participating in the event. The Death Rattler has the make an offering section, the multi-event. So a player can bet a ration to make a player of their choice draw a corruption. I think this is separate from a punishment of the event. I don't know if I need to clarify that more, honestly. Because I think that's not a punishment, that's a reward. You know? Doesn't seem confusing to me. Yeah, me neither. So I guess that was something I wrote down. But yeah. Let me just look at it one more time. Yeah, because you only take no penalties for not participating in an event, not for the reward the person has gained. So I think that's fair. All right, this one I definitely know is a problem. The Silk Flame Siren. Magarol, the Silk Flame Siren. Let's see. This one at least has to be mandatory, I think. I think it has to be mandatory. Although it can't, it's kind of hard if a player doesn't have weapons. So this one's was trying to be a little bit interesting, I guess. I was trying to be a little bit different with it. Let's see. Silk Flame Siren. You know what? I'm just gonna reset the deck. Actually, no, I'm not. It's just gonna be annoying. There she is. You can also specify deal 1 corruption to the losing side and non-participating players. I can't remember why I wanted it to be mandatory, but let me take a look at this for a second. Okay. So, God, all non-participating players or ones who have lost the bet take 1 damage. Okay. If you fight for her, deal 1 corruption to the participating the participates fighting for her. Fight for her, deal 1 corruption to the participating or to the participants fighting against her. So the weird part, I guess you really can't have it mandatory. I think the weird part comes from the weird part comes from like if you're participating in this event. Yeah. That's part of it. If everyone chooses the same side, if everyone fights for her or against her, whatever, let's say they all fight against her, then no one takes any damage, which is fine in a way, but also kind of meh. The only time someone would do the other is if they're really greedy and trying to like take on like 3 other people. It could be fine as like the split or steal conundrum. Yeah. Storm, when he was playtesting with me, we did he mentioned maybe doing a dice roll, like evens are on one side and odds are on the other, so like you can't pick whether you fight for or against her. That could be an option. I just read the flavor text and it made me miss Bean. I think Bean wrote this one. But everyone could get an odd or even, that's true. But it's more of a chance, right? Like, everyone can easily decide not to fight each other, but yeah. Sorry, this is not centered on your screen. I mean, it still could be mandatory, but if you have no weapon, you take damage. It could be slightly different. The role removes fatigue agency, so I don't know if I like it. That was my initial thought too, and then the more I thought about it, the more I liked it, but now that we're talking about it again, like, I don't know if I do, you know? Because when we're talking about it, in theory, I think it works, you know? It seems like it works. I think, honestly, the biggest thing is, like, the participation factor of it. Oh, wait, Han. Wait. Okay, wait. Hold on. I don't think it works at all. Hold on. Deal 1 corruption to the participants fighting for her. Deal 1 corruption to the participants fighting against her. The problem here actually is also just it doesn't work the way normal cards work, because say we bet fighting for her and then these guys bet fighting against her. Then as long as you put a damage in, you're going to hurt each other. Because it seems obvious, but it's actually just wrong. It doesn't work on the ways the mechanics of the game actually work, because no matter what, whether you fight for her or against her, you're dealing damage to the other players. Wait, this is weird. Okay, so here's how a multi-event works. So like in a normal multi-event, I don't know, Bloodmoon Beast. So here's the yeah, Bloodmoon Beast is perfect, right? In this event, say one player is on one side. Well, let's just say it's the same scenario. These two players team up to do kill the creature, and these two players team up to do to consume the creature or whatever, right? These two sides of the event have nothing to do with each other. These people can win this side and gain the reward, and these people can, or like even say like these people are fighting for the reward, right? Like this guy wins and this guy loses, but he's still the only one who gains something from this side. So on this one, right now, the way it would work, the way this actually works in this case is if I team up on this side and other people team up on this side, everybody takes 1 damage. Remember the base rule for that card? Maybe. It'd be hard to word properly, I feel like. It almost feels more like an incident than a creature event, to be honest. Like one of these, like the duel, where it's like players may duel any other number of players by choosing weapons, declaring who they will attack. These weapons may be corrupted if the player attacks each other. The difference of damage is taken by the weaker attacker, or the damage is taken as corruption instead. Like it almost feels like an incident. The idea is cool. It's worth doing. Yeah, I just think it might just be maybe make it into a incident. It feels like a monster, but it's kind of more of an incident. Or maybe, I mean, interesting. I don't know. It's kind of something I have to think about more. Yeah, because like I think the problem is like I guess if one person bets, right? One person fights against her, no one else bets, then this guy actually gets out free of taking any damage, which is interesting. Yeah, and then just everyone teams up and then no one takes any damage. Honestly, maybe the solution is just making it so you take 2 damage if you don't participate. But then what puts you on different sides? I mean, maybe instead it just say deal 1 corruption to the participants fighting for her if the bid is higher, or if the wager is higher. I guess I could just say that. Lean to making a steal or split type thing. Yeah. Explain that to me a little bit, because I'm trying to think of concepts here. Or think of like how that would work. The steal or split would be either, well, we already have a steal or split kind of thing, right? We have sort of, it's not quite. We have Liar's Bounty, which is basically all players must choose and place 1 card face down in the middle, declaring the type of card they have chosen. This can include weapons, tools, or rations. Any player lies gains a corruption. If players are truthful, each player gets their card back without consequence. If one player lies, the lying player collects every card placed face down, including their own and all others. If more than one player lies, every liar loses their cards. Truthful ones keep theirs. Kind of similar to that, right? It's a little bit different, but it does feel more like an event than a creature, though. Like, the more I look at this, because it kind of has its own rules it abides by. We could kind of force it into being a creature, but I don't know. And honestly, what makes you go against other players, though? Like, what makes you want to fight each other in this one? Like, the biggest thing is not letting a player get away with getting out scot-free, right? Like, currently, one player participates and no one else participates, then this person doesn't take damage and everyone else does. If everyone works with the same person, no one takes damage and everyone's happy. If literally one other person goes on the other side, everyone takes 4 damage anyway, or 4 corruption anyway. What if it's reworked so it does depend on roll, what team you're on, but instead of affecting the other side, the wager has to be Instead of affecting the other side, the wager has to be higher to win. Yeah, I think that's kind of how I feel about it. Which would make it not a multi-event. It would be a... So, like, if you're on her team, you have to place a higher wager to break free from her spell. Yeah. Back. Welcome back, Toot. If not, you try to kill her. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of, I think, how I was originally expecting it to work, is that, like, if 3 people bet on this side and 1 person bets on this side, then this guy takes the damage, right? It's kind of like a tug of war thing, yeah. That's not how the mechanic works. Like, that's not how the normal game works. So making it an incident instead of a creature probably is the way to do it, and just write the rules out. It's like, players can decide to fight for her or against her. If you fight for her, whatever, wager your weapons. I don't know. I think that might be the better way to do it, but I'm not 100% certain yet. Tug of war is a cool concept too. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it is, right? Like, that's kind of the idea I had it, but it kind of isn't quite working. And welcome back, Toot. Although, honestly, I don't know if I hate the roll. Here's I think why I decided I don't dislike rolling in this case, right? Is that if you roll, you still have player agency of how much you're doing with your weapons and stuff, right? So, like, if I roll and I'm on a team, I can be like, okay, well, I can still play 2 weapons. Someone might be able to play 0 weapons. Someone might be able to, you're like, okay, well, I definitely want to help out. I want to deal more damage to the... Oh, wait, but that would still not be tug of war, because it's just either one person gets damage to the other. Yeah, I think it has to be made into an incident, I think, is the best way. And just explain the rules. Because, like, incidents, you can kind of just explain the rules on. Whereas monster cards kind of should just be how they are. So if we just made her an incident instead... I think that probably makes sense. And we can just explain it better. Yeah, seems a good solution. Okay. Which means we have to write that out. What are we doing on time? We got half an hour left. What's up, Toot? How's work? I am thinking about making events more punishing, just in general, like having higher corruption cost. However, if we do end up going with this, I think that we end up going with the whole trading corruption system. I don't know if we'll need to. Work is work, dog. Signing print. Print Collator? What? For a trade show coming up. I don't know what that is. Am I losing my mind? Collateral. That's the word. Yeah, I'm losing my mind. What does it even mean? What does that mean though? Collateral. Yes, sorry, for a trade show. Explain what that is. How the game design doing? It do okay. There's gonna be a lot of playtesting in my future, I think. Yeah, events are just how the first corruption is born at this point, and then it cascades into corruption trading. Yeah. Print goodies like signs, catalogs. Okay, gotcha. Interesting. Nice. Just all the stuff we're printing out. Gotcha. Okay. Oh. Okay, we'll wait on this. We're gonna put more question marks here. Okay, Silk Flame Siren. We just have to reword it. Like, something like, you know, players are divided up into 2 groups. One's fight the siren and one's charmed by her. It could work for rolling teams. The 2 lowest and 2 highest are put into teams. You can see that. It's like a well, that only works if it's 4-player. I guess the like if you're playing 3-player, then it gets kind of weird. I do like that idea, but it doesn't work if we have an odd number of teams. If someone's in the middle, 3 but then you have to write that down. That's the annoying part, right? That text then has to go onto the card. For now, I'm just gonna say odds and even and see how that works, but I think the statistically it's, well, I don't know. Let's just write something and see how it goes, and then I'll go from there. Players are divided into group. One's fighting the siren and one's charmed by her. Players roll. I'm just gonna write. I always do this. I always like try to think how to try rolling 4 dice in Google and see how often it happens. Probably better just ask the probability, but I mean, in theory, it's a 50-50 chance, right? Players are divided into, let's just write, I always do this. I try to write the whole thing perfectly the first time, and it's just so much easier writing everything I need and then editing it. Players roll dice and roll dice. Odds. Fight for her or fight against her. Evens, fight, or even, probably should be evens. That's why even. Odds, fight. Her odds are charmed. Wait, what? There we go. Players, then wager weapons. To yeah, it happens very often that one team has 3 or 4. It's actually rare for them to be balanced. Just tested it now. I think that's probably okay, but I guess players are divided into 2 groups. Let me see. I'm just trying to think this through. I mean, I guess I can probably just do this. Players. We'll try it. But then a player would be screwed with the roll and wonder. I mean, yeah. It's true. I also wonder if it has to be like a higher amount of corruption that players take than just 1 or damage or whatever. I'm almost tempted to make it like an uneven thing. So like if the players fighting for her make the other team take 1 damage, and the players fighting for her make, my brain's not working. the players fighting her deal damage, and the players charmed by her deal corruption. But I don't know if that actually makes any sense. Players divided into groups of 2, one fighting the siren, others charmed by her. Players roll dice, highest fight against her, lowest charmed. No players can choose if an odd number players Players and wage your weapons to fight each 2 weapons against either team. Highest team wins and deals 2 corruption to... You're forgetting the P. Corruption to the other team. I mean, something like that. Also, there are 3 players and 1 rolls 1. Other 6 and 2 3s is closer to 1 than... 1 is closer to than the 6, so they'd be on the lower team. How would you even write that, though? Because that I don't think is intuitive. You could say the numbers that are closest to each other, but that gets confusing if someone rolls a 1, 2, or like a 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I guess it kind of makes sense. How would you write that? Wait, 6? Oh, wait, I see what you're saying. Never mind, never mind. That's a conundrum. This is the idea, though. We'll probably have to work it a little bit more. I probably don't need this whole first sentence, honestly. It can probably be combined with the second one, but and then just explain everything a little bit better, but say remove it from the game while you're playtesting things above it. Yeah, 100%. Right now it's currently yeah. I think I'm gonna continue thinking about that for a bit. I mean, I could just we could do a lighter fix, you know, and kind of just leave it as is. I do like the the other maybe simpler way to do this is would be it's not remove multi-event. And then so it's just a single event that says something like winning player, or like the reward is deal damage to or corruption to all other participating players. And then just make the event, or maybe not even participating players. deal corruption to all other players and then just make the event like no detriment for not participating. What? Oh, Seriebot banned someone. Let's just say you remove it from. Oh, sorry. Gotta remove the base rule in that case. What happens if no one participates? That's a good thing. So there would have to be a detriment. Okay, so I guess it would be... The reward can deal corruption to participating players, and the detriment always applies to non-participating players. Yeah. This is the simplest, and it's probably honestly the best answer, because making this so, like, whatever. I mean, it's kind of, like, I kind of really do like the fighting for her and against her thing, but I think going complex with this game is a mistake, usually. If it's too complicated, it's probably not worth it. This game kind of thrives on being simple. True that. So maybe it's just... I mean, you basically remove the multi-event aspect, right? We just... Of course that didn't work. Does this not work on... It's probably drawing under the card, isn't it? Yeah. I thought it really let you draw on top of the card. Weird. Anyway, we remove the one side... So no matter what, you're taking a damage, but you're kind of betting on hurting the other player is basically that. Honestly, I almost want to make it all other players. Like, yeah, this is too complicated. I think going simple. I think keeping it simple. Make it a... non deal corruption to all other players. I kind of like it for everyone because it kind of forces you to want to participate, and then if you don't participate, you take 1 damage. So if you don't participate, you're really taking 1 corruption and 1 damage. Unless basically the only way you don't is if you win the bet. I don't know, it's kind of punishing, but I kind of don't hate that. If there is no detriment, you can actually just have no one participate. Would that be so bad? Not really. But I also don't mind the game being more punishing, to be honest. It's kind of interesting because it's like having a truce for a turn. I kind of agree, but at the same time, I think I would rather it just be cutthroat because it kind of just works better. It's more fun. The game being brutal is kind of the fun part, which is very against my instincts as like just a person. But as far as the game goes, usually the events that are like the only way you're dealing damage to other players is making them lose events. So this is kind of like an exception to that. Kind of double check that I'm not. Okay. I agree. That's the thing. Give you an option for a truce. Then the moment one person makes a wager, the impact of your choice felt more. Yeah, that is true. Especially if we leave it at like a 1 damage wager. I think I have to make it juicy though. I think we do no detriment. I spelled that wrong again. No detriment, but deal like 2 corruption to all players. It has to be juicy. You know what I mean? Because like instead of like that's absolutely crazy. If you don't take that, like it's like either you're gonna make a lot of enemies or you're I think that has to be like that. That kind of actually, now that you mention it, it kind of has that feel where it's like it's the same sort of feel as the original card, where it's like you can fight for her or against her. You can basically fight for the team or against them, right? Okay, so it wouldn't be mandatory. Okay, so basically this one would end up being... Oh god, this is like such a mess. It is a... It's a full event instead of a multi-event. So wager would be 1. What would we call the thing? Because usually it's like kill the creature or fight the creature or something. I feel like it should be something else. No, I put it back on and then I took it off after a while. I was kind of not feeling it. Kind of mostly because I kind of have a headache. I'm feeling it as I'm feeling your scalp, as I want to feel your scalp. Go for it, dude. Here you go. What a Tuna, you bully. Held for bullying. You're such a bully. Hi, baby. What are you meowing at me for, huh? What are you meowing at me for, huh? Huh? Ah! Fluffy one. I have the fluffy one. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's wild. Not always. Sometimes it makes you permanently weaker, true. Oh god. Okay, bye. Now cat hair all over my face. Gotta give me an example. Breaking your back and being paralyzed. I'm a big philosophy guy. Okay, well, I guess that's the simple fix for that one. There's probably other ones that need to be fixed, but I think this is probably going to be about time to call it a day. There are some other I broke my 5th metacarpal and I can't use my pinky like a normal person. Don't you love being an adult and getting older, and then you get things that happen to you, and then you just have to live with that the rest of your life? Don't you love that? Isn't that the coolest part about getting older? You get hurt and you're like, I hope this doesn't last forever. Anyway. That's my favorite part about being older. Still find a way to be happy, true. If you don't find a way, then you're dead, I suppose. Or you're just unhappy. Yeah, there's a few other things. Maria broke her rotator cuff attachment, and luckily it healed perfectly. That's good to hear. Is that the whole skiing incident? Nice. Well, that's good. Glad she's fine. Yeah, there's some other like little tweaks that we have to do besides actual gameplay mechanics. We probably will want to take a look at every single card again too, and just make sure that we're not missing anything. But one of the other things I might consider is tweaking the art so that it is more visible. Like this guy, you don't even see him because he's hiding behind the text. You know what I mean? So potentially like moving him more toward the middle so you can see his face here, you know? I don't know. I don't know if it's as big of a problem, but because there's kind of no way around it with the way the cards look, but in some aspects, but I don't know. Here we are. Is it just me, or is a Silk Flame Siren giving me that look? I think she's giving you that look. I'd let her give me that look, you know? Also, if you break something, it's dead. You can't get stronger. So saying it's true even in that case. So Silk my Siren, you haven't even met my parents yet. Just give him the look. My phone is totally not dead. I use my metacarpal. Them carpals though. Yeah, like look at this little guy. Not showing his face. Ow. That one turned out pretty cool. There she is. The Tumbleweed Terror. I'm not going to survive to get stronger if you keep cracking me up. Oh wait. You could keep the moon where it is and move his face a little. Yeah. You've got to stop. Oh wait, sorry. Sorry, I'm siren. You gotta stop. My phone is totally not. You know, the innuendo was not intentional. It's beautiful. Sorry, I got a comment on my video. It's one of Perdicious's friends. What do you want, huh? I never did setups for you, did I? Or push-ups 2.0. That's what I'll do after this. After what? Huh? Yes, more push-ups. I can't believe you had a criminal in that video. Oh, it almost got canceled. That was wild. Dude, are you saying you haven't watched my video yet? I can't believe you. I thought we were friends. But yeah, Tuna's been canceled. For something. I can't remember anymore. I'm really sorry. I really don't care. You're totally fine, my friend. I do not expect you to anything really. For being too cool, probably. Yeah, that sounds about right. Please, I'm married. This man. What else am I doing? Can we delete Silk Frame from the game from flirting with a married man? I mean, 2 usually is the one flirting with me and he's married, so that's kind of okay, so but nobody can no, don't tell your friends or anyone. Wild. Okay. That's fine. His wife consented. It's true. It's true. It's true. Anyway, now that we've been thoroughly derailed, I think I'm probably gonna be done in a second, but we are gonna talk about what else I had to do real quick. Yeah, fixing the art, probably making it so it doesn't hide behind some of the cards if we can. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not like 100% certain on that, but I think you can still kind of tell what it is, even if it's covered. So I don't know. We'll have to consider that. The other thing, the main font in this is the font that's used for, what's it called? Inscription. I just stole the Inscription font for this, and it looks really good, but I feel like I should do a different font, and potentially for the flavor text as well. The flavor text isn't very readable on print, so we might need to change some fonts around. I think I could use the main font here, but I think it costs money, so maybe we'll even make our own font. I don't know, maybe something crazy. I'm gonna make a silk frame siren cosplay for my wife. That's wild. She allows Beets marital action from what I understood. True. Martial? I can't read. Marital? Yeah, marital. My dear wife approves of action with Beets. This is wild. Anyway. So yeah, font stuff, and then you guys aren't even listening. You guys are just thinking about inappropriate things. No, I'm just kidding. It'd be cool to make a mat, like a play mat that has like little slots for the tools, rations, and cards, especially like all these cards basically, especially if we can have it have like the numbers you need to roll when you get a random card. That would be good. So it's like, oh, okay, get a slot, like numbers under here. And then maybe more ration types. I'm kind of skeptical on that one, but I've had like 1 or 2 comments about potentially adding that. So that's the game plan for this update. Maybe we'll have some server playtesting. Only the after hours, though. True. So it seems pretty short. What seems pretty short? Our list of things to do. That's what it felt like last time, and it ended up being a whole debacle. It ended up taking like 2 months. Yeah, I mean, the game's pretty good on its own. I mean, it's solid. It's just kind of figuring out how it works and, you know, getting any weird interactions out of the way. But in theory, yeah, hopefully it's like a month long at most. The biggest, I guess, looking at it, barrier to making this work is getting enough playtests to try it, but last time you didn't have me. That's the voice I imagine. But yeah, we'll probably do play testing. Although Tuna, I don't know how you would play test it. Give me a cuter voice. Okay. Well, last time you didn't have me. Is that it? Is that good? How was that? Love it. Whoa. I'm Morty. No, that's more like, wait, dang it. I don't know if I can do Morty. I've oh, gee, Rick. It's not quite there, but it's more like that. Last time, I can't do it. I haven't practiced it enough. It's been too long. Anyway, this castle is in unacceptable condition. Beets, I don't know about this. Don't know about what. Anyway, yeah, we'll just have to do playtesting. Unacceptable. I unaccept. You really smell like your dog buns. True. But yeah, we'll have to do some playtesting. I do want to get some AE playtesting in too, because I've released the new version of the game and have not. That was a note in their prank. Yeah, I feel like I vaguely remember that. You're supposed to read it in Morty voice. You're supposed to read it in Morty voice. Beats, would you want to voice act? I would do it. Yeah. I don't know if I want that to be like my occupation, but I would do it. Oh, hi. Oh, bye. Where are you going? What are you doing? What are you doing, little kitten? Think you're just a little kitten or something? Yeah. I mean, I would do it. If someone was like, hey, you want to do some voices for something? I'd be like, sure. YOLO, right? I think I sort of did something actually once. Someone was doing like a audio, they were trying to make like an app where it was like stories that were like a, what's it called? A choose your own adventure, but like podcast where you would talk to the app and it would like you would be able to like be like, oh, I take route 2, and you're like driving and you're playing a game. It was kind of interesting. Anyway, we can make a game as a community. You could voice act for it. I could. I was thinking if I ever did AE as a voice acting, it would just be like, you know, just like a little like basically like pit people kind of voice acting. Like that, you know? Dude. Do whale hunter mumbles. Okay, hold on. Maybe like that. No, I feel like it's got to be more like. Have you ever played Ultimate Chicken Horse? Yes. What do you sound like? I got it. It's more piratey, like sort of like yahar. I'd be like a little gravelier, right? Maybe like deeper. Yeah, I don't know. You gotta have like a little bit of gravel as a sea captain, you know what I mean? Like that. There we go. That's pretty good. Like that one. Yeah, Ultimate Chicken Horse is a great game. Didn't we play it to? No, I don't think we played it together. I was playing with Alfredo and Checkers. Anyway, yeah, there's that. It'd be funny because you could get probably some like. You get people to easily voice act for it because you'd be like, hey, you just like talk to some other YouTubers or something like, can you do voice act for this? And like, okay, what do you need me to do? And it's like, can you go? It's like have you actually guys seen what pit people oh my god, pit, I can't type, pit people voice acting. Minecraft villager, basically. Hold on. Okay. Is this it? Oh no. No, shush. This. Aha. Old. Okay, hold on. We don't really need to watch the video. Look. Tebow's music. We'll unmute this and we'll turn it down because I think it's loud. Actually, let's turn it down here.
Oh yeah, because it's all on a comic book.
It's kind of...
All of him and try to make it. Hey, hey, hey.
I don't know. I just find it funny. Pipil human. I thought there was more. There's more variety. It's honestly better when you can hear the other voices too, because like some of them are like much more. Like they actually do accents well, even though it's like stupid mumbling. Anyway, music. You do like mumble voice lines when you play a card. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And have a bunch of variations so it isn't repetitive. And then something like Shapeshifter is whispering in a mumble because they're hiding. Like that, you know? Imagine you had short music cues for lands and structures too. I can see that. Or just like when you play a land, just like play a plains and you're like just wind. Anyway, y'all are distracting me. I probably should be done. I need to make myself food because I didn't really have much of a lunch because I had a late breakfast and then I just didn't have much for lunch. Yeah, actually, God, I keep getting distracted because I'm having fun. But my brother, because he does like coding stuff, he did a little bit of vibe coding for armies, and he made like a somewhat like playable prototype. It was kind of interesting. It's like I almost wonder if it would be worth trying to make a vibe coded AE. It's becoming a lot more plausible, but I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so not a ton to do with Blackridge, but it's a little bit more polish. We'll probably only have 1 or 2 more updates with Blackridge, and then I think it will be done because it's just a solid game. But just some tweaking to get it fully done. But yeah, anyway, I think we're going to surely be worth it. You could put it on the Steam Marketplace to make it make monetization simpler. Yeah, for sure. It's just a matter of like, is it actually possible to just fully vibe code the game, you know? Or is that just gonna be like, do I need to actually just learn coding to like get me like, because vibe coding probably could get me like 90% of the way there. I don't think it would fully get me exactly what I want, because I would love it to look more like I want to look more like Inscription than like Slay the Spire or something, but like one is way easier than the other, you know? I think coding is a valuable tool these days for board games. Yeah, I mean, coding would be great to learn. I definitely don't. I'm not saying that. It's just also like would be a lot of work, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll approach that once AE is actually like done mechanically. And see how that goes. I think that's all I need to talk about today. I think that was all fun and good. I wonder if I actually can show. Well, no, I'll do that later. Well, that's what the community made game can be as a fun experiment for. Yeah, true. I'll learn code together. Good. I know some of y'all know coding, but at least more than I do. But I think easier said than done. We should do that soon. Oh, I wanted to do a community art challenge. I don't know when we're gonna do that. I want to do like a color palette challenge where basically everyone picks, or like we all get a color palette and we all have to make an art from that color palette. So I might be doing that. Maybe I'll start that this weekend or like on Monday or something. And give everyone like a week to do it. It'd just be like a fun learning experiment sort of thing together. So I'm sure I'll have more to talk about on Sunday and probably for sure Tuesday. Sunday we'll probably just be playing more, if not the rest of Dispatch, and then yeah. So Anyway, I am running out of energy and I need food, so I think we are going to call it there. Ooh, like I'd actually submit something in that case because I can do it on my phone. Yeah, it wouldn't be like a contest necessarily, just kind of like a challenge to like everyone to push themselves a little bit. I think it'd be fun. We did a fair bit. We did. It wasn't like a ton of accomplishment, but honestly, the brainstorming, I figured most of today would just be brainstorming anyway. So we'll get playtesting, I guess. That's a thought I didn't finish. We also need to playtest armies because I literally haven't played the new version of it yet. Not really, not with all the new cards. So probably I'll see if I can line up some collaborations and stuff to do streams on probably both games. But we'll see. I think next, like on Tuesday, maybe we'll try to set up this for one of the playtests of Blackridge. So, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, let's find someone to raid. Let's show my face. There's my face. And let's find someone to raid. Raid channel. We're gonna earn so many points this update development, so I might end up redeeming way more old god cards than you can expect. Maybe lowering the price drastically isn't the way for that reason. I mean, we'll see. I don't really mind people redeeming old god cards if, well, I don't know. If it's all monsters, maybe I don't want that, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Who are we rating? Anyone we know? Oh, Tice is on. Let's try raid Tice. We haven't seen him in a while. But if I redeem 4, you'd be doing my redeems for potentially 8 streams. Yeah, that's true. It's very true. I mean, I don't really mind because like it all has to be. I have to make old god cards anyway, but just a month of work. True. Maybe we put it into a queue. I don't know. I don't know how that would work. We'll have to see. We'll have to see like what that even looks like. But anyway, we're gonna raid Tice because it's been a while since I've seen him. And yeah, let's do it. I don't know what he's working on. Some sort of you know, the usual fish dating sim game. So we're gonna do that. It was great seeing you guys again. I will be back Sunday, which we will maybe finish Dispatch. So anyway, it's good to see you guys. We'll see you in a few days. Bye. Goodbye. 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 Farewell. Goodbye.